In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to analyze your expenses by month if you are doing it on a monthly quarter basis or every 6 months, depending on when you want to analyze your data, or even each month. This tutorial is very important, particularly if you are trying to do bank reconciliation against the payments that were done, or if you have kept your expenses and you just want to see the monthly expenses total. And it also applies for sales or bank reconciliation. So there are a lot of applications for this, what I'm going to show you today. And that is, in this example, I have a list of expenses. This expense is just to start off, but yours could be a long list of expenses record like this in a worksheet. Now, all your expenses or all the incomes that we record, any transactions that we record each day, is based on date. So date data is very important, especially when you are trying to do analysis on the expenses or sales or anything like that, because every day transactions occur and the date is very, very important piece of data. So that's why what we want to do is a simpler way to do it, to analyze the data by month or by year. Now what we need to do is we need to add the trick is to add a calendar. Okay, so calendar to the worksheet. Okay, so here I have done a calendar here, and that calendar is just got one column only. You don't need any other columns. We just need one column, and that is the date column. Okay, and in a given here, our year starts on the 1st of January and then ends on the 31st of December. So the calendar table, you have to add all the dates. Okay, so I put the date as 1st January 2024, and if you go down, drag it all the way down, and you will see that I went all the way down to 31st, this one here, 31st 12 2024. So I want to capture the entire year in the calendar table, so that will be linked to the expenses. Okay, so next step is we're going to go to our we're going to make this calendar into a table first, because we want Excel to remember it as a data set. So we go to insert table. My table is added, yes, and now my table is added. Our date is, or the calendar is now converted to a table. So I will name this financial year. Okay, so otherwise I'll just put FIN for financial year. Okay, and I'll press enter to accept it. So that's my financial year calendar in. Now my expenses. Okay, so I go to insert again, and now I'm going to convert that into a table as well. And now it's converted. I remove the filter button, and I will put this as expenses. Okay, so that's it. So now that I have my expenses and my calendar table, the most important part now is, because these expenses are occurring and is related to a date in the calendar, okay, we're going to combine or join those two together. Okay, they call it relationship. They are related tables. So the trick to do this is to go to Power Pivot. On the home file, on the tab, you'll see Power Pivot here, right here. Now if you do not have Power Pivot on the tab line, then you right mouse click somewhere on any of the tab and customize ribbon. Okay, and then these are the popular commands, but you select commands not in ribbon, and then you can scroll down and go down all the way to P. Okay, so Power Pivot, Power Chart is here, Power Pivot Table and Pivot Wizards there. Now my Power Pivot is not there because I already added it to my list here tab, so that's why it's listed there. If it's not listed there, then it should be here. So you select the Power Pivot like this, and then you head, and it will be on your main tab. And also you can check, so if you make sure that you check, so that if you don't check, this will still be hidden. So you check that out, and here I have checked it out, and that's why I have my Power Pivot there. So that's if your Excel does not show the Power Pivot. Okay, so that's very important. Now what we need to do is we are going to push these two tables into the data model. Okay, data model or Power Pivot. So select the table, go to Power Pivot, and head to data model. Okay, so head to data model. So now I have headed my expenses table into the data model. I'll close this one because I have to get the data, calendar as well, so I'll close this one. I go to calendar, select somewhere, and head to data model. Okay, so now if you look at the bottom of this screen here, you will see that you have your financial year and you have your expenses. So those two are now in the data model, so you can now create the relationship and you can match the data and get exactly what you want. So now we have loaded the two data sets into our data model. Next thing we need to do is we need to join them so that they relate to each other. So I go to diagram view, and now you will see that you have the table here, data table here, financial year and expenses. So every expense here will relate to a date in the financial year. So that's why you select the date like this. Without releasing the mouse, you drag it and you connect it with the date. So now you will see that the relationship is now created. There's a star here which means many, and there's a 1 year that means single. So one single date in a year will have many related expenses, because in one, its reality is in one day you can have several expenses. So that's why they what this relationship means is that one date here, financial year date, will be related to many expenses in the expenses column. So that's all you need to do. Once it is joined, now we can create a pivot table. So I'll select this pivot table here, and now it says where do you want to put the pivot table. I said I'm going to put it in a new worksheet because that's going to be my report. Okay, so I click on new worksheet, and I'll name this one, rename, and I will now call it summary report or something. Okay, summary report, and I'm going to put that highlight that with a different color, maybe yellow, And now I'm at my pivot table, so I can go to my analyze pivot table, and I'm going to get my field list. And now if you look at this pivot table fields, you'll see both of the tables are here. You have the financial year with the date, and you have all the date columns. So now I can pick up any data from I want to pick up the date from the year, so I put it down in the row. And now you will see that Excel will put both the date and the month. Okay, so if you look at here, so what we're going to do is we are going to allow only the we're going to allow only the month. Okay, so but we leave it there for now. And what we're going to do is we are going to remove the date, and we just want the month. Okay, if we want to really, like, it's a long list and we want to see the exact date and the payment as well, if you want to be very detailed, we can leave the date, month and the date as well. But for now I just want to get the expenses that are done by month. Okay, so that's what I want to do, so I delete it. But if I when we first put the date in, you will see that it's giving us the date as well as the month. So that I don't want. Okay, I just want I can have that, but I want to have the month only for clarity. Okay, so now that I have the month, I can go to the expense, and I'm going to put the description. Okay, so I'll put the description under the month, and then I'm going to put the amount in the values column. So now if you look at my summary table here, in March I just format this one, and I will make it big so that our summary table looks good. And now I'm going to change this to months, and this is expenses, total expenses. Okay, so now I'm going to right mouse click here, format, number format. I'm going to change this to currency, and now we see that in the month of March we had an expense of 500. But if I want to see the actual expense, then I can see that it was a payment for the visitors, and then there was one in April, and that's for fuel, and none in May, that's for IACA, and one in June, that's for ticket conferencing. So now you can see exactly how much money we have spent. Now if I go here and I design, and I can put the subtotals at the top of the group, so now you can see that April is, May is, so you can see the total at the top. Now I'm going to go back to put a blank line after each item. So now you can see that April we had a 600 kina fuel, and you can actually see how much has been spent in each month. So once this table is set, I can just go to my expenses, and I'll continue to record my expenses. So if I say I'm going on the 4th of let's say 4th of April again, 24. Now there was a payment for, let's say, payment for allowance for drivers. Okay, allowance for casuals, that was a 3,000 payment. Now if I come back to my summary report, I go to data and I refresh all, then you will see that in April my allowance for casuals are slotted in, and now my total for April has gone up to 3,600, and overall expense for the year is 6,800. So that's how you calculate your expenses. So particularly if you are doing a bank reconciliation, it's very easy to do it that way. You can get bank statement from the banks, downloaded the electronic format or whatever. Then you create a calendar, and then you get your bank statement spreadsheet done, and now that you can connect the calendar to the bank statement data, and then you can quickly come up with a summary like this, and then you can compare it against your own payment records as well, so that your reconciliation process can be done very easily. So that's the beauty of having a calendar and loading it into the PowerPoint by clicking on the table, head to data model. You do the same with expense, add it to the data model, and then once you are in the data model window, you go to the diagram view. It will be like this data sheet view, and you'll see all the expenses and the financial year in. Then you can go to diagram view, and you connect the date to the financial year date, and then you come up with a pivot table, and that's exactly what we have done and come up with this summary report here. So once you have sort this pivot table, then you can go, you don't have to worry about redoing this again. You just go ahead and go continue working on entering your data up to December 31st, and then, like for example, I put 5/8/24, and then this one would be like allowance for MD, that would be like 5,000, right? Now I go back to my summary, I go to data, and I'm going to just refresh all, and now August is added and 5,000 is added. So you can build up your whole entire year's expense layout in months. And the other thing you can do is, once you want to filter this report, the beauty is that in the pivot analyze table you have the slicer, so you have you can fill up get the date as a filter or month as a filter, and click OK, and now you have all the months in place up to so one thing is that all the months are in place up to December. This December is not grayed out because there is no transaction yet for this, so we only have blue light is because those are the months that have transactions. So that's why Excel is saying there's nothing for this, so you don't have to worry about that. Only this one. So if I want to get only, say for example, I want to take only the April list, then I can check this out, and you can see that you have got the one for April. If you want to do multiple selection, you can highlight this and say, okay, we can get the April and May maybe, okay, or April, May, June. So those are the three months. If you want to do comparison, then you can compare those 3 months of expenses, and you can get the total as well. So that's how you build up your expense summary or bank reconciliation summary to do your bank reconciliation with the bank. That's how easy it is to do it. I hope this video is useful to you, and that will help you to continue to manage your expenses.